Hi, this is TJ Wilson. I'm with Katie Carter, our Director of Mental Health Services at the Rolling Plains Rural Health Clinic. Katie, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your role with the clinic?
Sure. So I'm a licensed professional counselor, graduated with my master's from Angelo State. I've been working in mental health for about 12 years now in this area.
So you're a RAM.
I am. Go Rams. As a director, I wear a lot of hats. So I have clients that I see for counseling services, and then I also get called over to the hospital pretty regularly to assess patients.
That's a pretty new service, right? That's something
Yeah.
you've only been doing, the last year or so?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So ER will call us in if they have anyone that needs to be assessed that they're kind of not sure about. Same with OB and really everywhere. I've kind of been everywhere. ICU.
Well, OB, that's cool. I didn't even know about that. So.
Yeah, that one's really new.
Yeah.
So one of the things that we do postpartum is check moms
Sure.
for depression.
Absolutely.
Immediately. And if they score high, now part of the protocol is to call us in, and we kind of do an extra assessment, just kind of an extra layer of checkups. And sometimes it's not that mom is severely depressed yet or anything like that, but maybe she needs a little extra support at home, or she's first time mom and this is scary, and so then we can set her up for counseling to really make sure that everything goes well when she gets home.
Postpartum's a big deal.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And we typically don't start seeing it until 5 or 6 weeks postpartum, when all of those happy hormones start going away and we're exhausted and all of that. But
Do any babies make you exhausted?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yes. Mind-numbingly exhausted. Yeah.
Well, that's a cool service. I didn't know about that.
Yeah.
And, that's on top of doing all the outpatient work across the street.
Yes. And then I also guide my team and lead them when they have questions, and we deal with a lot of legal and ethical things that are very gray, and so we have to.
Well, speaking of your team,
yes,
you've been here for 3 years. Give or take?
Almost, yeah.
And you went from
Me
to a team of 5, sometimes 6, or is it 4, sometimes 5?
We're 5 right now, hoping to make it 6.
Right, and that's with we had an intern that was here for 6-8 months, something like that.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what inspired you to take that challenge?
We needed it. I worked at the Children's Advocacy Center for a few years. I worked for the school district for a few years, and really just recognized that the mental health issues, and not only in our community, but everywhere.
Sure.
A lot of it's systemic, it's generational, it's deep-seated, and it's going to take more than 1 or 2 people in the community trying to heal these wounds that have been there for a very long time. So I knew it was going to take a team if we were going to get anywhere.
Okay, so what's been the most rewarding part of seeing your team grow the way it has?
Just reaching more people and being able to provide more services. When it was just me, I was barely keeping my head above water just doing those therapy sessions, and I couldn't get over to the hospital. Now I am able to get over to the hospital. I am able to go do community outreach stuff. We're hoping to start some group therapy soon and that sort of thing.
That's cool.
And educational groups, and so it's exciting to see what we can do for the community as we get bigger.
That's great. And that's funny, because my next question I had was, how has the team's growth impacted the community access to mental health services? And I think you kind of answered it with just having more people means more access.
Yeah, and the more people who know about us, the better.
And you guys are pretty packed though, right? I mean, your schedules are pretty full.
We are full, and with a wait list. Now, our wait list is a lot smaller than what they see in Abilene. Abilene is typically like a 9 to 12 month wait list. Ooh. Yeah, it's rough. Ours averages about 3 months, depending on how severe the issues are. So we're definitely trying to see people as quickly as we can while still providing the services that are needed.
All right, and so I did the 2021 Community Health Needs Assessment.
Thank you.
And we identified mental health as a top priority. That, and of course, the drug problem we had were kind of hand in hand.
Mm-hmm.
And do you think RPMH has responded accordingly to the need?
Oh, 1,000%. I think that's within a few months of that is when Doug reached out to me and said, hey, we need a therapist. And I was like, hey, you need a department. And he let me do that. He let me kind of run with my goals on that and do what we needed to do.
Yeah, I think, I always give you guys, whenever anybody talks about the mental health part, it's like, well, the community health needs assessment, of course, that's for people that don't know what that is, you go out and reach out to however many people in the community that come back and, in survey form, and in 21 was all surveys because of COVID.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, like it all came back with mental health and diabetes, which, you can't do both of them, but.
No.
So, can you share a success story or example of how mental health has made a difference in someone or the community's lives?
Oh man, we get success stories a lot, whether it's a kid that's been struggling and we get invited to their graduation or...
Well, my daughter went to one of the therapists over there and she's ADHD and having some serious impulse problems, and this was last year, and we, for the most part, got those taken care of, and we stopped seeing the therapist, but because of how good, and it was Emily, and because of how good she is, my daughter will not stop. She still has to go in there systematically just to be able to, because she wants to see Emily. So
yeah, well, and it's great to have that support.
Well,
too,
and I think
as
that
things come up.
That shows the kind of relationship you guys are trying to build with the community. And it's not just because it's my daughter, and it's because that's one of 200 or whatever, however many all of y'all are seeing. So, and
I think that's a good point. You don't have to wait until there's a crisis to seek out help and someone to talk to. We see so many preteens and teenagers who are just going through social stuff that is hard. It is hard to navigate. And for the parents, it is hard to navigate. And so we can provide that support.
Well, I think that you brought up a great point, was you don't have to be in crisis to go see somebody, and it's okay.
Right. You don't wait until all of your bones are broken in your body before you go get your
some
broken
of us
leg
do.
taken care of.
But
true, which goes to the male we don't get help.
Well, that's, as far as success stories, it's that, I love to bring, Paisley will scream from the rooftops about how, being able to go there and talk, and, when my dad passed away, it just so happened that we got to see her that next Monday, so it's been life-changing for her, really.
Yeah, absolutely.
Then being able to have somebody to talk to, and it's funny, because the first thing we said when we went in there is like, well, whatever you say to Emily, she can't tell me, or and so whenever I went in there the first time and said, Paisley, what'd you guys talk about? She goes, well, I gotta tell you.
That's right.
And it was
business.
It made her right away know that she could trust. So that, I think that's a perfect way to put it, is don't, go in there, gain trust, and don't wait till all your bones are broken.
Yeah, and I think too the really important things with that are what we talk about does stay in there. Yeah. Unless there are certain things you're a danger to yourself or others, and that sort of thing. But it is a safe place, because in a small community there are a lot of jabbering jaws and big ears a lot of times, and so it's a safe place to leave those things. The other big thing is that there's no judgment. There's just not. You can tell us the most horrible things, and we're going to sit there and say, okay, let's figure out how we get through this. So
it's just like anything else. Like they may think it's the most horrible thing, but it's probably the third time you heard that day. So it's
and we see it as you're a human,
right?
And no matter what, you deserve you deserve to be happy and healthy. So.
All right, January is mental wellness month.
Mental health wellness month.
That's a lot of words.
Yes.
So tell us why it's important to focus on mental health, especially in rural communities.
I think the beginning of the year is that we're kind of focused on goals and doing better and that sort of thing, and it is a good time to kind of set some goals mental health wise on how to be at your best for the year with your mental health. Again, don't wait until things are broken and you're super depressed, and then you're like, oh, well, now I don't have the energy to go to counseling. And there are some things that you can do on your own to keep yourself
Yeah.
upbeat and motivated to a point.
What is your opinion on, let me think of the way to say this. It's not systematic counseling, but of like maintenance counseling. Just like, I mean, you're fine, and you just need to go talk to somebody every once in a while and kind of keep yourself on track, or
Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely, and that's something that we do. We call it kind of step down. So if you're in crisis, we're probably going to see you at least once a week. As things start to even out, we'll go to every other week, and then we do kind of maintenance counseling where you're coming in once a month, just kind of checking in, seeing how things are going. And then if we do 3 or 4 months of that and you're good, we're like, let's see how you do on your own. You know, I love seeing you, but our goal is to work ourselves out the job.
And I think with you guys specifically is that being in the community we are, and you guys do have a wait list, like it's, you guys are more focused, I should say more focused on, because I mean, everybody matters obviously, but you have like it's a triage, like you have the priority list where, so I get that, where it's not, I mean, you basically want them to graduate out.
Yes, and we want them to utilize the coping skills and the resources that they have, and that's exciting for us. It's like a parent watching their kid do things on their own. It's like, yeah, you're getting this, and you're doing a great job at it. So
it's like you're trying to teach everybody to ride a bike every day,
and they get it, and I'm like, go.
All right, what steps can someone take to prioritize their mental wellness?
I think one of the most important things is to just kind of be aware of your emotions in your body. And I know that sounds kind of hippy dippy, but you know, if you're really stressed at work and you're coming home extra tired or with a lot of headaches and that sort of thing, well, you may be a little more stressed than usual, and you need to do something about it. I ask a lot of my clients about, they'll come in and say, I'm angry all the time. Well, a lot of times it's anxiety, and we tend to react to negative emotions with anger because that's a safer thing. And so kind of exploring those, like, am I angry, or am I feeling disappointed or left out, or that kind of thing. They're also very basic things. Get out in the sun for 10 minutes a day. Go outside and breathe that freezing cold air for just a little bit. You know, we encourage you to get out of bed, move. You know, some people can't walk a mile or 2 a day, but if you can, go out to the mailbox and back, or call a friend and stay connected. That's another big thing that we learned in COVID, right? Is that humans, no matter how introverted we are, we have to have human interaction.
That's a word I don't really associate with.
No, it's all me. We have to have that human interaction, whether we like it or not.
Right.
And so that's another important piece. And I think that is difficult in a rural community, especially for our older people, our older population. You know, we don't have a whole lot of activities for them, especially if they're not involved in church and that kind of thing.
And SNAP can only do so much.
Right. I mean, you get that little bit of human interaction for the day, but it isn't a whole lot. And so it is important to be kind of
be in community.
Yeah.
I mean, whether it's whatever community you want to be in community with other people.
Yeah, and try to be proactive for yourself.
I think that's good advice. Any resources or programs that RPMH offers that people should know about?
So we have counseling. We have one of the things that I think we're the only rural hospital in the state right now that does it. We have a psych nurse practitioner on site. You're going to see him in person. You're not going to see him on a computer screen. It's a real person who's going to sit next to you and talk to you about what's going on. And he does our medication management. And that's a huge thing. Study after study for decades has shown that medications do much more for you if you're also getting counseling.
Sure.
Because the medications are helping with the chemicals, right? They're getting your chemicals evened out, but they don't give you the coping skills. So that next time you hit a bump in the road, because even though your chemicals are here, when you hit a bump in the road, it's still going to go down here, right? And so we still need those coping skills to be able to pull ourselves back up.
Well, and not to bring up my daughter again, but I will. One of the things when we were going through the process, is we had talked to Dr. Street, who's a pediatrician, and I say we, I kind of did that on my own, but he said that, you know, because we were very hesitant about taking the medication.
Absolutely.
We had done a lot of other things, and he said that, you know, don't be afraid to take the medication, but talk therapy.
1000%.
He said if you're going to do the medication, make sure you're also doing talk therapy.
Yes.
And because, you know, he's like, and he didn't exactly explain it the way you did, which makes a lot of sense, but, you know, he was just saying that one of them is good, two of them is better. And so doing both, and it, like I said, for us, it was a success story. And you know, when we, not that we've even stopped, you know, I mean, Paisley's still been going and seeing her counselor, and you know, we're more than happy with that. And like I said, she will scream from the rooftop.
Yeah.
So that's, I mean, I think that's I never really thought about it the way you did, but it has. I mean, just practically, I mean, or anecdotally, it's worked for us too.
Yeah.
You know.
So the medication management part is something that not everyone knows about. And then we also, like I mentioned, we work with the OB with mamas who are struggling, and they don't even have to, like, even if they score fine on their depression scale, they can ask for a counselor.
Yeah.
Like, they're welcome to say, can I talk to somebody? And we're going to come over and we're going to be like, what's up? That's the cutest baby I've ever seen.
Well, and that's something that me and Brittany through, I mean, with Brody, we struggled a little bit with postpartum.
Absolutely.
And so that's been something that we both have tried to tell new parents, like, don't be afraid. Like, well, I have a nephew who just had a baby, and it's like, hey, if your wife's not feeling okay, it's okay not to feel okay going through this whole thing, and go see somebody before it's too late, because
absolutely,
it can be.
For sure.
And I mean, it's something that I think is, and you know, stigma is, we've talked about that a lot, is that, you know, just with mental health in general, but I also think that might even be elevated with new moms, because they're supposed to be the best time of their life. But you know, kids suck. I mean, especially new ones.
It's
like they're beautiful, they're great, they're the best thing that ever happened to you, and it's tough.
It is. And they're little aliens.
Yes.
They don't know how to talk to you. Yeah.
Right.
It's rough. And postpartum depression is this wild, evil, perfect storm where, and I hear it over and over and over again, and I experienced it with my daughter was a preemie and in the NICU, and that made me a lot more susceptible to postpartum, and I had it pretty badly. Postpartum, a lot of the times, will have you convinced that your child is better off without you. And that is like the most evil thing that your mind can do to you, because that is wrong. Your child was made for you specifically, by you specifically. That was not a mistake. And so, and we're all moms over there, and so we get it, and we've been there, and it's like, you've got to remember.
Roman's not a mom, but
he's not a mom so
mean,
much, but he's a dad like times 87 or something.
Or 90, I mean, a lot.
So many kids. Another program that we just started is we are working with radiology with women who get a positive mammogram. We get them to the top of our list. They come in as a crisis counseling session so that we can kind of process those very first emotions and okay, what are the next steps? What are we looking at? What are we going to do? Just because that is it can be such a life-changing thing. So
no, that's awesome.
Yeah, we're really excited about that one too.
I mean, that's a really, it's cool. I mean, it always feels weird whenever you're talking about hospital stuff, but that's a really cool service.
Yeah.
What's your vision for the future for your department?
Oh man, I have so many big dreams. You know, in like 5 or 10 years, I would love for us to have like crisis beds and you know, a crisis area. One of our big struggles being rural is that there are not inpatient beds available a lot of the time, and there's only so much we can do to help, and as mental health providers, that's crushing.
Being friends with our mental health officer in town, hearing his stories of where he has to take people is pretty unbelievable. I mean, he's taking people 300 miles away from time to time. I mean, that's it. It's pretty sad to hear, but at the same time, I mean, everybody's dealing with this. It's not just us.
No, it's a statewide problem. Last year in 2024, Forbes, I was actually reading during my lunch, Forbes ranked Texas as 51 out of 51 for mental health services available. So our state has a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
They've thrown a lot of money at inpatient hospitals in metropolitan areas, and that's pretty much it. And those are for profit, and so, you know, we get into all of that. There isn't money in mental health. It's truly a service to the community and to the state and the people, and just kind of a loving ministry, honestly. So that can be hard.
Well, how can the community get involved to support all that's being done around here?
Let people know that we're here, I think, is a huge one. We always appreciate donations through, I guess they can go through the foundation. I know it could be earmarked,
yes,
or something.
No, yeah,
I don't know. I don't know
can.
all that
No,
stuff.
Absolutely.
But you know, like last year, we got a little bit of money to do some indigent work, and that was hugely important because so many of our severe mental health people don't have any kind of insurance.
I mean, I kind of feel like that kind of goes hand in hand.
It absolutely does, and so we're telling the sickest ones that they can't get help, and so the indigent funding really, really helps us.
And that was through the Nolan County Renewal Project. Gave us $5,000 for indigent care.
Yes,
so
last year.
That was a lot of
Yes, it was very helpful.
Very helpful. Yes, the donations to the foundation would be helpful, and I mean, like you said, I mean, word of mouth, like just letting know people there are people here. There are people to take care of you.
Yeah, and just encouraging ending that stigma.
Yeah.
You know, I think especially in male groups, which we're seeing a lot of that, right? Like we're seeing, I think, more males coming together and saying like, look, it's okay to
it's okay to not be okay.
Talk about this and go get some help.
Yeah.
So it's encouraging.
What advice would you give somebody who might be struggling with their mental health but hasn't sought any help yet?
Seek help.
Do it.
Just do it. It's not gonna hurt. No, I say that. It can be hard. It's hard to take that first step, and especially when you're severely depressed or severely anxious and that kind of thing. Like you're going, I can't even shower, and you're wanting me to make a phone call.
Yeah.
And we do try to make things as easy as possible. But yeah, reach out to a friend. If you can't make the phone call, have a friend make the phone call and hand them your insurance information or whatever.
And that's something else. I think you touched on the indigent stuff, and we talked a little bit about, you know, there people in crisis probably don't have insurance,
right?
So I think that's another thing. You know, don't be afraid if you don't have insurance to come help. Just like there are other avenues that we can take to help.
Yes.
Just take that first step.
Yeah.
And come get help if it's. We'll take care of the rest of it. Like we'll figure out what we got to figure out.
And even if you do have insurance and they don't cover mental health, which blows my mind that that's a thing
still,
but it is. Even there, like, don't let that deter you. If you don't have a vehicle, car, like we pay for your car, right? What is it?
It's car.
I know, but it's something rural rides.
Senior rural rides.
That one, So we can set you up with that to get you there. So we work really hard to make things as easy as possible on everyone to get here. Yeah. We're not scary. We're not going to bite. It can be kind of painful to bring stuff up and have to process through it. But in the long run, you feel better.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything else you want to mention about your journey, the department, mental health in general?
We're thankful to be here. I know that we all feel blessed to have been called to be in a helping profession and get to be in this community. Even Abilene struggles to find this many mental health clinicians in one place. And so it feels pretty special that people are literally asking us to come work, if they can come work for us, and they're seeking us out. It's pretty cool.
And you have a new space?
We do have a new space, and we're full. But yeah, we have a cool little new space, and we're working on getting it set up to
and it's kind of cool that we just keep expanding. You don't want to always be bursting at the seams, but it just seems that like you said, people wanting to come work for us or work with us, and
I think
that's a good thing.
I think the next construction project, I believe we're gonna get like a playroom / family room. So I believe we got a pretty big grant for that. So
that's great.
Go directly to that, and that'll be neat.
Well, great. Anything else?
I think that's
All right. Well, Katie, I appreciate you. We appreciate you. We appreciate you being here. and
you.
doing all the hard work y'all guys are doing.